Welcome to today's session of Questions and Answers with Pastor Anthony, where your questions will be answered by what is written in the Word of God.
Pastor, I have a twofold question today. It's really good. So the question is, if we are a three-part being, which is body, soul, and spirit, what happens to the soul and spirit when the body dies? So that's the first fold. And the second one is there a difference between the believer and a non-believer?
Well, that's a good question because we all want to know what happens to somebody when they die.
Yes.
And it's a good thing that the question comes in that we are a three-part being. We are a spirit. We don't have a spirit. We are a spirit. We possess a soul and we live in a body. And your soul is composed of your mind or your intellect, your emotions, and then your free will. And then you have a body. So what happens with this? I want to take you through the scriptures just for you to see what really happens when someone actually dies. In Luke chapter 16, and in verses 19, it talks about the rich man and Lazarus. And it begins to say there was a certain rich man who was clothed in purple and fine linen and fared sumptuously every day. But there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, full of sores, who was laid at his gate, desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. In verses 22, it begins to say, so it was that the beggar died and was carried by the angels to Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died and was buried. So here we see both of them die. And when both of them died, well, something was buried. It was their bodies that was buried. And in verses 23, it says, and being in torments in Hades or in hell, that is the rich man. Now it tells us that this rich man was now in hell. And then he lifted up his eyes. Well, I thought that your eyes are in your body.
That's true. Yes.
But now he is in hell. He lifted up his eyes so he can see. He lifted up his eyes and saw Abraham afar off. And he saw Abraham afar off and Lazarus in his bosom. So he could see even though his body is buried, but he has eyes he's seeing. And then he says in verses 24, then he cried and said. So he also has a voice. He can speak. So now he's talking. But the body was buried, but the voice is talking. He says, Father Abraham, have mercy on me and send Lazarus that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue. He has a feeling. His tongue is hot, burning. So he has a feeling. He says, I need my tongue to be cool, for I am tormented in the flame. Then he goes on to say, but Abraham said, son, remember. So he has a memory. He can remember. He says, son, remember that in your lifetime you received your good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he is comforted and you are tormented. Verses 26, and beside all this, between us and you, there is a great gulf fixed, so that those who want to pass from here to you cannot, nor can those from here to you. Then he says, I beg you therefore, Father, that you will send to my father's house, for I have 5 brothers, that he may testify to them, lest any of them come to this place of torment. So here he had died, he's been buried, but he's there. We've seen he has eyes, he has a voice, he has a feeling, and now he has a memory because he's remembering the loved one that he left behind. I have brothers, I don't want them to come where I am. And so what happens when you are buried? You still have your thinking process, you still have your voice, your eyes, you have all those. Your body is just a case you're living in. Now what happens is, if you are a believer and you die, and you're a non-believer and you die, you still have all those. Your soul and your mind, your soul and your spirit are intact, they are one. But your body is left on earth. The only difference is, just like the rich man, he was in hell having all those going on. Lazarus also was in Abraham's bosom because he could not cross over to heaven, yet Christ had not been crucified and died and gone to heaven before us. But he was also having the same thoughts, the same feelings with him. The only difference is Lazarus was in a better place than the rich man. So there's the difference between a believer and non-believer is your soul and your spirit will be in hell. The believer, your soul and your spirit will be in heaven with you.
Wow, thank you, Pastor. This is really good. So if you have any questions, make sure to send them for them to be answered to the email listed below. Thank you so much. And that is the reason why we need to go out and preach the gospel.
Yes, we do.
Thank you so much. Thank you for watching.
Thanks for joining us today and stay blessed.